Hello and welcome back to Most Amazing Top 10. I'm Rebecca Felgate, and today we're getting pretty dark as we talk the top 10 diseases that could end humanity. Hip hip hurrah. Before we crack into this video, I want to remind you guys that we have an Instagram that you can absolutely check out if you want to see some snaps of the team behind the scenes. We also have loads of glorious merch that you may enjoy. Links to the gram and the merch in the description box down below. So the top 10 diseases that can end humanity. I'm going to take the definition of disease with a little pinch of salt here and just cover humanity ending illnesses instead, so yay! Also, have you guys played the game Pandemic? I enjoy it, but it's pretty stressful, a lot like this list, which is kind of like a real life version of that game, where everybody dies. Good. Coming in at number 10, we have the plague. No, you haven't fallen asleep and woken up in the Middle Ages and then again in the 1600s. You may be surprised to know that people still get the plague today. Between 1346 and 1353, the bubonic plague killed around 50% of Europe's entire population, so that was a lot of people. There are three types of plague: bubonic, pneumonic, and septicemic. Plagues are spread by rodents, wild dogs, rabbits, and cats, but pneumonic plague can also be spread by coughs and sneezes. All people who contract pneumonic plague will die unless they get treated. Right now there is a huge outbreak of pneumonic plague in Madagascar. Between 2015 and 2017, there have also been a number of plague cases in New Mexico. Coming in at number 9, we have the Armageddon Virus. Okay, so that isn't actually the name of the virus, that's the Daily Mail headline for it, but you know the Daily Mail, they like to bring the drama. Actually called Crimean Congo Viral Hemorrhagic Fever, the Armageddon virus had only previously been seen in bats, but now some scientists are saying a human-born global outbreak is inevitable. The infectious disease can be passed to humans by ticks and can be fatal. As the illness takes hold, sufferers develop huge bruises from internal bleeding. It can then also lead to total organ failure. One man from Glasgow in Scotland caught the disease in Afghanistan, and there are further reports of outbreaks in the Middle East. The Armageddon virus is being likened to SARS, which is coming in at number 8. Severe acute respiratory syndrome made itself known between November 2002 and July 2003. It was spread to humans via Asian civet cats. The disease broke out in Guangdong, China, and spread in pockets across the world due to unknowingly infected people traveling on airplanes. By July of the following year, there were 8,500 reported cases of SARS, including a serious outbreak in Geraldton, Ontario. The death rate was roughly between 15 to 20%, but luckily SARS seemed to have been contained by 2004, which is good because we don't have a vaccine. Coming in at number 7, we have Spanish flu. Absolute no to the Spanish flu. If the Spanish flu comes knocking, just tell it to go home. This trickster killed 50 million people in 1918, so just a casual 40% of the world's population. This horrifying influenza has a very short incubation period, meaning that by the time people realized that they had it, there was really nothing that they could do. Luckily, the Spanish flu of the 20th century seemed to fizzle out, but unluckily, diseases have been known to resurface with different strains. For example, some people saw some similarities in avian flu. Not a disease, but a problem that could mark the beginning of the end for humanity, we have drug-resistant bacteria at number 6. When medicine advanced far enough that we were able to develop antibiotics, we were able to save so many lives. Antibiotics fight infection, but the problem is that bacteria are constantly evolving to become resistant to these antibiotics. Doctors have to be careful when prescribing antibiotics, as oversubscription when they're not needed can cause these bacteria to mutate and become a serious public health issue. There are already some bacteria that have become resistant to drugs that we have, and these are called multi-resistant organisms that are now resistant to many different antibiotics, which is very concerning. Ways we can tackle more of this happening include proper prescriptions and good hygiene. Plus also, good hygiene is just good practice in life in general. Coming in at number 5, we have Ebola. Ebola had a huge outbreak recently between 2013 to 2016 and was mainly a problem in West Africa. However, pandemics have been known to occur. Ebola is a hemorrhaging disease that you really don't want. In the most recent outbreak, around 30,000 people caught the disease and around 40% of them died. Although in previous outbreaks, mortality rates have been known to reach 90%. The West African outbreak was the most widespread outbreak of Ebola in history. If this disease truly manages to spread overseas, then we could all be in serious danger. A lot like Ebola, we have the Marburg virus disease at number 4. Marburg is also a hemorrhaging disease that can carry a 70 to 90% mortality rate. The first known outbreak of Marburg occurred in Germany in 1967 when a shipment of monkeys from Uganda arrived infected. Grotesquely, this disease causes skin to peel off and internal bleeding. Luckily, the initial outbreak was contained in the 60s, but it did resurface between 1998 and 2000 when 128 people died from it in the Democratic Republic of the Congo. Right now, there's an outbreak in Uganda. Something scary lurking under ice at number 3, we have frozen ancient diseases. As the world's climate is hotting up, areas previously totally covered in ice are thawing, and with them, long forgotten ancient diseases are awakening that humans no longer have an immunity to. As permafrost soils warm up, ancient bacteria is returning to life. For example, a 12-year-old boy died and 20 other people were hospitalized when anthrax poisoning was brought into a Siberian settlement. Why? Ice melted, it trickled down, anthrax. Coming into number 2, we have cancer. Cancer is on the rise. 1 in 3 people contract cancer in their lifetime, which means that it will affect you somehow one day. You can't catch cancer from humans, which means it won't start a pandemic. However, certain things in our modern environment are causing humans to develop cancer, which is a problem. As radiation increases, so do cancer cases. Radiation, of course, isn't just nuclear, it's solar too, which is why we need to look after our ozone layer. Obesity is said to be a cause in rising cancer cases too, so as populations eat the wrong thing and get plumper, they're more likely to get cancer. And the biggest sexually transmitted disease, HPV, which 79 million Americans are carrying, can also lead to cancer. Finally, the scariest disease that could end humanity is probably unknown, and the unknown is what is freaking us out at number 1. There are diseases out there that we don't know about yet. Some scientists allude to HIV as an example of a disease that crept up on us. It has a very long incubation period, and when people started showing symptoms of the disease, they'd already been infected with it for years. We could, in theory, be infected by something right now that we have no idea to test for. Again, there could be diseases out there waiting to strike. As the human population swells, we are encroaching on spaces inhabited by wildlife that we may not have come into contact with so much yet. Like rats, they could be carriers of diseases that our immune systems do not yet have defenses for. Again, as populations increase, our proximity to one another decreases, meaning infections spread even more easily. So guys, that's the end of this list. If it freaked you out, I'm really sorry, but the good news is that there is a lot that we can do to lower our risks of being wiped out by disease. Further research into medicine is one thing, as is proper waste management, but one thing that you and I can do to help ourselves is be hygienic, wash our hands, and we can also stay healthy by eating right, drinking water, and exercising. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you liked it, make sure you give it a good thumbs up, share it with a friend, and stay subscribed to Most Amazing Top 10 for more interesting lists just like this. Thank you guys for watching to the end of this video. If you want to stay on your most amazing binge, then I've got a couple of recommendations for you. Why not check out our top 10 creatures that will outlive humanity and the top 10 things that can destroy the earth. I'm Rebecca Felgate, and I'll see you next time.